Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, we're gonna be going over Tediore chucking. I know, Tediore chucking, it's cheese, it's boring, but guess what? We got some new weapons we're trying out. We've got brand new anointments, brand new interactions, and brand new Mayhem 10 content to crush, making this setup pretty exciting. And did I just mention Mayhem 10? Yes, that's right. This build is working pretty decently on Mayhem 10 right now, and I know you guys want to know what gun I'm using to toss enemies all over the map, so let's get into it. Now, real quick before we get into it, if you end up enjoying this video, then please don't forget to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Borderlands 3 videos, and don't forget to join the Zane Nation Discord channel where we do giveaways for both console platforms and save files for PC. And finally, I stream a lot of this stuff over on twitch.tv/thickfillet_, so stop on by and drop a follow if you want to support me there too. Now, like I said, the weapon I'm using is pretty much just the Horizon. This is an awesome new weapon that I'm going to be showing you guys, especially with this new anointment, but that is something else we have to talk about real quick, is the main reason this Tediore build is working so well on Mayhem 10, is this brand new anointment right here. While an action skill is active, grenade damage is increased by 150%, and Zane has the most the best chance of taking advantage of this anointment, and that's why this build is working so well with him. The other characters like Flak and Amara have the second best chances of taking advantage of this anointment, but even like on Flak, you know, you have Fade Away and Gamma Burst, which last for a while, and what does that leave you with, a Gamma setup? So yeah, that's what's making Tediore so powerful. Now, real quick, I'm gonna put the Tediore damage formula up on the screen. You see we have card damage times gun damage times V1 times V2 times grenade damage times splash and AoE times bullet in the magazine. And now I know a lot of you guys are like, whatever, math, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, grenade damage adds to Tediore chucks, and it makes this setup super, super powerful. Now, like I said, the main gun you saw me running was the Horizon, and we're gonna get some more footage in the background of this weapon because this is a super fun weapon working for most of Mayhem 10. You can get this weapon from Maxitrillion. He is in a room right behind Genevieve. He's a little robot who reflects bullets. Some of you guys might know him, but otherwise just look him up. He's called Maxitrillion, and yeah. Otherwise though, this setup works pretty well with a lot of different weapons. As you guys can see, we are using the Fish Slap Grenade along with the Cut Purse artifact. And what's really cool about this interaction with Zane is the drones, grenades, count as your grenades. On top of that, we're gonna go over the skill tree more, but I'm also using duct tape mod. So we're gonna get a lot of these Fish Slap Grenades out there. And this is just gonna regenerate ammo for us with the Cut Purse. Now, I also said that this setup is very versatile, and that's true. The Cut Purse and the Fish Slap won't give you infinite ammo like Double Barrel used to, but it gives you very good ammo supply. When we're using the Horizon, we don't need to use the Face Puncher, and that's really cool. But when you're using something like the Everblast, which merves into 5 more, and you're constantly chucking Everblasts, you are going to want to have the Face Puncher equipped, so make sure you keep a Face Puncher somewhere in your inventory, because depending on what weapons you're chucking, the Everblasts are really spammy, but the Horizon is like a crowd control. Now, what exactly the Horizon does is when you chuck this, it creates a big ball that you can shoot, and once you shoot it, it creates a huge singularity which sucks enemies in and then does a giant explosion. And as you guys can see, we're getting tons and tons of damage out of this. Now, I do also want to mention the rockets like the Plague Bearer, the Backburner, Scourge, Hive. You can spam all of those as well. However, you guys have seen me playing with tons of rockets the last couple days, so I'm not going to showcase this RPG at all. We're mainly focusing on the Tediore. Now, like I said, the Fish Slap and the Cut Purse is a very strong combo, and it will get you ammo back, but it's not infinite, so I like to stick to shotguns mostly. We can't really spam the Baby Maker in this build. Even just like Gunnerangs and Bangerangs in this setup, you'll run out of ammo pretty quickly. But yeah, you can also use something like the Cut Purse launch pad to get ammo back as well. But yeah, so let's go over the skill trees. Now, in the skill trees, like I said, we are using duct tape mod. We're basically, this is a see and dead setup, of course. Because the action skill uptime with good misfortune. Now, one thing I want to note is I noticed that this setup, we're not using recurring hex grenades and we're not using like fast firing weapons. So sometimes I notice my action skills going down. So I've actually spent 2 points into good misfortune and 4 points into borrowed time. You notice I didn't take synchronicity, and that's because we actually get more damage out of Tediores with our magazine size. So you want to take Praemunitus over synchronicity, I promise. And Donnybrook is awesome, so always take Donnybrook. When it comes to duct tape mod, like I said, we're using this for the fish slap grenades, and on Tediore chucks, we're always on the first shot of our magazine. So this pretty much synergizes well with Tediore chucks. And yeah, besides that, in the green tree, we did get to confident competence because we are using the all-rounder. This just gives us really good protection. One thing you have to note about Tediore chucks is we do have salvation, but the explosions themselves will not heal you. So if you want to heal yourself, you actually need to put a couple shots into enemies. And keep that in mind. And that's why the barrier is very useful in this build. Now, real quick, I do want to mention the clone and fractal frags. When they nerfed the clone and the cut purse interaction, that doesn't work at all with the clone anymore. Now, you guys might not know this, but the drone grenades are your grenades, but the clone grenades belong to the clone. So the clone and the fish slap will not regenerate you ammo. And that kind of sucks because we actually probably could have gotten some insane ammo regen between fractal frags and see and dead, but unfortunately it doesn't work. So yeah, I figured I'd mention that. And yeah, besides that, this is a pretty simple setup, and the Horizon is an awesome shotgun. Now, one thing I do want to tell you guys is when it comes to true takedown mode, I prefer to play this setup in scaled takedown, but we are playing on Mayhem 10. The slaughter shaft is very doable in Mayhem 10 with this setup. It's just that the Mayhem 10 scaling is very strong right now. It's 12,500 for armor, shield, and health. And even though you can solo true takedown, and I have done it with this setup, but like I said, it just takes more than one chuck of a Horizon. Now, I suggest looking for Tediores in all elements. You want fire, corrosive, and radiation, I think, are the #1 elements. I wouldn't worry too much about shock because Tediore chucks do so much damage that radiation ones will get through most shields, unless you just have like a really shock heavy boss. For the Guardian takedown, it's very possible that you will want some shock Tediores, so look out for them as well. But I really do recommend the fire, corrosive, and radiation elements. In the slaughter shaft, I actually chuck a corrosive one at a bunch of enemies, and then I'll chuck a fire one, because the corrosive one with the 300% anointment will just shred through shields and their armor, and then you can finish them off with your fire chucks. Now, one other thing I kind of want to talk about real quick is the anointments that are possible to use. Now, you see I have this 300% anointment, but keep in mind, sometimes you will get enemies below 300%. And in that case, I've messed around with consecutive hits anointments. Let me find my chucks. Okay, so yeah, I have this fire one here with consecutive hits. And it's not the best anointment for Zane because it is gun damage, but Sentinel Cryo does not apply to Tediore chucks at all. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. You really do just want to find these anointments, even the action skill active anointment, because consecutive hits only goes up to 200%. Tediore chucks are very powerful, and they're not necessarily required to have these anointments. Yeah, what I highly recommend is finding the action skill active grenade damage. And one other cool thing I want to mention with the fish slaps is we're also wearing a transformer. So these shock fish slaps won't damage us. They'll actually heal us. And on my transformer, you see I have Sentinel movement speed. Since we're running drone barrier, this is pretty much the best anointment. Now, one last thing before we end the video is I should mention violent momentum. You actually get the most damage out of chucks if you're running as fast as you can while you reload. So you can run as fast as you can and chuck your Tediore. And what's great is this takes full advantage of violent momentum because you don't have to aim chucks. Most of them are homing. When it comes to the Horizon, you just have to aim it in the general direction, and you can stand completely still after and shoot with the Horizon. So yeah, that's a pretty cool interaction. Oh, one other cool thing is playing dirty. I did notice that playing dirty does add the extra pellet to the gun card of the Tediore. Let me pull up this formula. If you see, our formula says card damage, and it does, I was doing some testing on the dummy, and when playing dirty's active, I'm getting more damage. So I think this goes into the card damage, like it'll turn this into a ×14. Now, this isn't super important right now with our shotguns being ×13. You know, they don't exactly take advantage of playing dirty, but when we find some cool infinite ammo setups in the future, that's going to be really, really dope for pistols, because pistol chucks can be very, very powerful, and they are ×1. So playing dirty will potentially double the damage on them in the future once we get a better ammo setup, and I will be working on builds. Actually, Boop Toot has a pretty cool FragDaddy Zane Build setup. I might do a video on it, but I will also include a link to Boop Toot's build. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for this video. That's everything I wanted to talk about Tediore chucking in Mayhem 10, because it can be pretty powerful. Like I said, just look out for the brand new fish slap grenade with the action skill active grenade anointment. Go farm for Tediore chucks with the 300% anointment. On top of that, just have fun. You can spam launchers, you can spam some other weapons that are pretty ammo hungry. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to drop a like on it. And subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands 3 videos. Like I said, join the Zane Nation Discord channel for these save files and some console giveaways. If we get the gear together on console. Other than that, check me out on twitch.tv/thickfillet_. But yeah, guys, that was pretty much it for the build and the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.